Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it, and I promise to update daily. If you love this watch, you can see it and purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. And today we're discussing my favorite family of Rolex Datejust models. This is the Turn-O-Graph, also known as the Thunderbird. Originating in the early 1950s, it was one of the first rotating bezel Rolex sports watches, and it did anticipate the Submariner by several months on the market. So this is a timepiece that offers immense sports watch utility with the versatility of the core Datejust model. 36 millimeters in diameter. This one's a combination of Rolex Everose red gold and 904L Rolex highly anti-corrosive stainless steel, both made at Rolex's own foundry and case component factory out in Plan-les-Ouates, Genève. The watch on my wrist, reference 116261. It's 36 millimeters in diameter and a wonderful 11.7 millimeters in thickness, so it's nice and slim, over a millimeter thinner than a Submariner, so you get the rotating bezel without the bulk. Lug-to-lug, it's a traditionally sized men's dress watch. 44.4 millimeters. If you include the end links of the Super Jubilee bracelet, it stretches just a bit more, 45.4 millimeters, with a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Now, this model was discontinued around 2011, and the example you see here is a D serial number, late 2005. So this is a modern classic and a discontinued piece that's also objectively rare, as the majority of the Datejust examples built during this period were not the Turn-O-Graph. It's always been a cult watch, and you can see why. The watch does feature the Super Jubilee bracelet, though. This launched with the renewed Datejust family back in 2005, so called because it features a new lift lock system in the clasp, which we'll discuss in a moment, but also solid center links. The Jubilee bracelet, originally launched in 1945 with the first of the Datejusts, was so named because that was 40 years of Rolex, 1905 to 1945, thus the Jubilee bracelet was born. Polished centers, staggered alignment, staggered size, very supple, and now is the Super Jubilee, as robust as a sports watch bracelet on the wrist. A fully milled out clasp, all high polish internally. You can see the beacon hook system of the Super Jubilee lock. It uses an articulated vertical trigger. It's not a friction fit system. It is very secure. You can't just pull it open by brute force. And you'll appreciate that all of the individual links are sized using screws. No pin sleeves here. All you need is a screwdriver and you can get to sizing. Now, jumping back to the case, the watch is simple and sexy, as the Datejust case has never become as squared off or severe or sheer as the GMTs, the Sea Dwellers, the Explorer 2s, and the Deep Seas. It looks a little bit more like the Daytona or the Date-8, and you can see that fluid form does wonderful things with the light. The bezel is a signature of the Turn-O-Graph, and originally, I believe it was reference 6202. It was launched as a traveler's watch, the idea being that you could quickly orient the index of the bezel with the minute hand, or hour hand if you like, and then you can time, and you could use this. It's just as easy as timing using a dive bezel, but you have the added convenience of being able to move it in both directions. The bezel, as you would expect on a gold, well, at least a gold Rolex bezel, Rolex bezels made of gold generally are fluted. You always know when you see a fluted Rolex bezel that that component, at the very least, is gold, and it's red gold. Everose is a high copper red gold that also has a high percentage of platinum, which means it will never oxidize over time or submit to chlorine and water and fade as red gold tends to. This will always be rosy, hence the name Everose. The dial is a silver sunburst, and you can see how reactive it is even in the soft light of my light box. You can see red gold hands, red gold Rolex coronet at 12 o'clock, red gold indices, the Turn-O-Graph script down at 6 o'clock. It is a loomed dial. There will be a loom shot. There is a red varnished hand, and I should mention the date is not a roulette. It is all red on this particular model. Easy to read, sporty, loomed, and automatic winding. Underneath the caseback, Rolex manufacturer caliber 3135, 48-hour power reserve, 8 beats per second or 28,800 vibrations per hour, quick set date, stop seconds, bidirectional winding with Teflon coated reversing wheels, and a jeweled staff rotor to make it super smooth and silent. You also have the stop seconds and the quick set date with architecture features like a full balance bridge and a free sprung balance for shock resistance, and overcoil hairspring to help it earn a COSC chronometer certification and pass through 5-position adjustment, as it will in the COSC test. That's what an overcoil gives you. The watch keeps good time in any orientation with respect to gravity. A tank tough movement that's also precise, silent, and refined. The watch itself, a bit of a sleeper and a cult classic, but a personal favorite of mine and one of the modern Datejust greats. You can see this 116261 and make it yours on the watch box. Rolex Datejust Turn-O-Graph by night.